honesty and justice, complete sincerity, compassion, polite courage, or courtesy, pardon me, I don't know what polite courage would be, and heroic courage. One of the incarnations of the Code of Bushido, which is really a distillation of 200 years of writing. Let's look at another one. Let's look at the Knight's Code, Modern Chivalry. This is paraphrased from Brian Price. Prowess, loyalty, justice, defense, courage, faith, humility, largesse, and nobility. Okay, let's look at another one. Let's go with the most popular one of all, the 10 goddamn motherfucking commandments. I am the Lord thy God, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images. This is the King James Version, by the way. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Remember the Sabbath day and to keep it holy. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not murder, really. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Now let's look at Jesus' take. Let's look at the Beatitudes from Matthew. Now when he saw the crowds, he went up on a mountainside and sat down. His disciples came to him, and he began to teach them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven, for in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. Let's look at the Asatru, the modern Vikings, neo-pagans, whatever you want. This is distilled from hundreds, thousands of years of writings. This is very contentiously debated whether or not this is authentic or not, but this is what the modern movement goes with. Courage, truth, honor, fidelity, discipline, hospitality, industriousness, self-reliance, perseverance. Okay, and let's do one more just for fun. Let's do the Boy Scouts. The Scout Oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the Scout Law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. The Scout Law is: a Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Hey, you know what I lied? Let's do one more. Hey, I'm already breaking one. I lied. From my first martial arts school, I was doing Shaolin Kempo back in the 90s, and some of the school code, we have effort, etiquette, sincerity, self-control, and character. And then how about the code of the martial artist that we followed? It is better to avoid rather than check, check rather than hurt, hurt rather than maim, maim rather than kill, kill rather than be killed, for all life is precious and none can be replaced. I just rattled off to you several codes. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there, 6, 7. We've got 7 right there, depending on culture and times and region. A lot of similar stuff. A lot of dissimilar stuff. This would lead some to believe that there's maybe some universality to these things. I mean, scientifically nothing is universal, but culturally these things tend to propagate. Okay? So what are the pros and cons of lists like this? See, the most of the things in there are pretty good. They're about being helpful and kind and productive. And those are okay. Most people aren't going to disagree with such concepts. Being courteous and being helpful and being thrifty, like the Boy Scouts say, and not being a liar, and all these things. Being courageous. These are all things that most people kind of look at and go, hey, that's a pretty good thing. But then you've got the political side of it. See, religion has never been separate from politics, and though our founding fathers here in the United States have tried to make it clear that religion and politics should not ride in the same cart, they tend to anyway. And that being the case, it creates this social, cultural paradigm, and people get very emotional about these things, and it leads to things like nationalism and patriotism and this kind of us versus them mentality, that our tribe is better than your tribe mentality. When you start throwing in words like honor and loyalty, nobility, reverence, what? You shall have no other gods before me. Never once did he mention rape. Be meek and humble, and and persecuted, and it's okay to play the victim. No. You see, for all the good there is bad, because all of these lists were created by people who had an agenda, and it may not have been some big conspiratorial agenda to control the human population. It was just ideas that made sense to them, and it made sense enough to the point where they thought, hey, this is something that I really need as part of my life. And I think others should have it as part of their lives as well. Well, okay, but maybe let's chill a little bit and have a discussion instead of you trying to tell me I'm a horrible person for not following your rules. You see, I have problems with terms, these horribly ambiguous terms like reverence and loyalty and honor. What do they even mean? They're empty terms that don't really mean anything except what you want them to mean. Reverence is just respect, right? But it's respect for a higher authority. It is literally automatically putting you in a position of subservience. I don't think that's a good thing. I think that prevents us from reaching our potential and fulfilling our evolution. Honor. What is honor? What is honorable? You have to determine what's right and wrong before you can even determine honor. What's right and wrong? How do you tell? This is your morals. This goes back to what we were talking about last week with you can do anything that you can get away with, and and the cost-benefit analysis. If honor is that, then honor is no more than just making smart, beneficial decisions. It's not particularly special. Loyalty. Loyalty is one I particularly don't like. There's nothing wrong with sticking by your loved ones or sticking by people and causes you believe in, even through the rough times. There's nothing wrong with that, and I'm not saying that's a problem. But this idea of this unfaltering loyalty of I will sink with the ship, I will fight for this, no matter how much the next thing is winning against us or whatever. This is a bad bad deal, because you are limiting yourself and you are removing opportunities, or removing the chance to seize opportunities by default, by choosing this idea of I must be loyal. Excuse me. In marketing, they say brand loyalty. With nationality, it's your national pride, your actual patriotism or nationalism. With your religion, it's really your reverence, but I mean, it's your loyalty to what they are telling you is the reality. And what that does is that says, hey, look, despite conflicting evidence, you're sticking with us because you're loyal. Well, shouldn't you be seeking the best opportunities for yourself and for your own evolution? I would think that seeking opportunity is as important as sticking by your friends and helping people through hard times. I mean, can't you have both? Do you have to wrap it up in this big blanket term like loyalty? These things they're dubious at best. And I truly believe that they are social and political and religious traps to keep you feeling bad about breaking away from their structure and breaking away from their membership when it no longer suits you. You see, your evolution is important because it's you. It's your life. And regardless of how many lives you impact in your life with your conscious decisions, your unconscious decisions, all of that, it is your life to live. And if you decide something is no longer good for you, or that something over there is particularly good for you, I would urge you to follow that and follow it to its logical conclusion, because you only get one shot. And to live your life by some, bullet-pointed code is to stifle your evolution. And that just feels, to me, that feels wrong. That feels personally immoral. Am I telling you that it is immoral? It's not for me to decide what reality is. I mean, reality is reality. But to me, based on what I've observed, based on how I've lived my life, you have to be able to move. You have to be able to go from one thing to the next. And do so for your own health, for the health of those involved. It's not good to coop yourself up based on some political premise that you have to stick by because you were born into this, or you were initiated into that, or you were this good dedicated servant this way. Whatever. You are, now it's done. Move on. I am no longer a Christian because I evolved past it. I don't need it. I didn't stop being a Christian because I was mistreated or abused or somebody said nasty things towards me or threatened my friends with hell. There was none of that. It was just science and history. New evidence came in, new stress and stimulus, and my essence, my being, adapted and said, hey, I don't need that thing anymore because now I'm over here. And that thing's just holding me back. I evolved. And my life's never been better. So, I'll leave you with this simple question. What do you believe? What is right for you? Do you want a bullet-pointed list to live your life by? Or do you want to just, do the best you can with what you got and try not to hurt anybody else? Keep things simple. Keep things clean. Keep things just non-complicated. It's really that simple. I mean, do what your gut tells you is right. If somebody stands in your way, debate them, move through them, move despite them, or think about it and change your direction if the evidence supports you were in the wrong. That's fine. You know, being an adult, being a responsible human being, means admitting you're wrong sometimes. Means admitting that where you were wasn't as good for you as where you might be. That's okay. And it may even mean that you're moving from a good place to a bad place on a whim, on an experiment, and then you end up moving to an even better place later on. You don't know. But you got to go with your gut. You got to go with what makes sense to you. You know, if anything is universal at all, and it's not, but if anything is universal at all, it's just do what feels right and try not to hurt anybody in the process. That's all I got for you guys. Just chill and have fun. It's the only rock around the sun you got. Good journey.